Hello, everyone. Good evening. Let me scoot my mic back here. Okay, that's a lot better. See who's in here. Sunnyside, Charlie Girl says. Cement shoes. Oh my gosh, there's a bug on my laptop. Get away, moth. How are y'all doing? Rocky. Hey, how are y'all? It is cold out here, y'all. I'm about froze to death. I found some good stories on Reddit. I've not read them all, but these are supposed to be some of the scariest stories on Reddit submitted by, folks that's had these experiences with ghosts. So I'm going to read y'all some stories. Oh, thank you, Sunnyside. Well, I got ready this evening because I knew I was coming on here. I mean, I wear makeup just about every day. Some days I skip, but, I take extra time when I'm coming on here. Is it cold where y'all are at? It is so chilly here. I got my TikTok leggings on. I got a t-shirt on. I had to put a jacket on. Oh, yeah. Before we get started, y'all remember Sapphire in your prayers because she fell and broke her arm and she had to have surgery on it today. She sent me some pictures from the hospital. I checked on her this evening. Iowa in the 60s now. Let me see what the temperature is here. If I can. Crap, I about forgot the code into my phone. Sometimes it tells me right here, but let me see. It's 55. 55 and clear here. It's going to be sunny tomorrow. I mean, the sun was out here today, but it was still like really chilly. Don't tell too scary of them. I'm outside alone counting pop cans. Hey, Mommy Mars. I'm outside alone too. Mark went to watch a football game with his friend, our friend Dee. Dee's girlfriend right now, she's at home, but she's on hospice. And she's only like maybe 50 years old. And it's because she's an alcoholic. It's like damaged her body. It has literally about killed her. So sad. So on Monday and Thursday nights, he goes and watches football with Dee, which I am fine with that, y'all. Totally fine with it. Okay. Oh, yeah, I was going to tell y'all something. Sunday, actually, I was texting Rocky right when I was walking to meet my friend at the bottom of the driveway to pick me up. And I got almost there and Mark pulled in. So I didn't go anywhere. I'm gonna have to straighten up, y'all. I'm gonna end up getting in trouble. Charlie Girl says it's pouring the rain, but I love the sound and the thunder. I love it too, but I don't like thunder anymore because Skylar, it scares my beagle to death. I mean, she has panic attacks. And she'll cry and whine and pant. And did you get in trouble? No. He said, where are you going? I said, I was going to get me some cigarettes. But you know what, guys? These cases and stuff we've been following, I think to myself, oh my gosh, you must be stupid, going out and, doing things you're not supposed to. Because you never know how people will react, Okay. Let's see. Let's do the first story out. Oh, yeah, I was going to tell y'all something. They have a federal arrest warrant issued for Brian Laundrie um, because he used Gabby's debit card, credit card, used about $1,000. And so they have issued a warrant for his arrest over that. It's not murder yet, but hey, at least they got an arrest warrant for him. I hope they find that little weirdo. Just remember the old Shaggy song, It Wasn't Me. I know. Well, crap, I get tired of sitting home all the time. Hey, Cheryl T. Okay. So this is called It Wasn't a Little Girl. And like I said, these are stories that people have posted on Reddit about their encounters with ghosts. And these are supposed to be 11 of the scariest ghost stories from Reddit. I don't know if I can read all 11. I'll try. Okay, I was camping with my husband and his family at a small, remote lake in New Mexico. There were about 10 people in our group and another group of 6 people in the next campsite. It was nighttime. Hold on. I can't see, guys. Let me get some glasses here. 6 people. Okay, it was nighttime and these glasses are warped. Both groups were doing typical activities, making s'mores, having a few drinks, telling stories, when we all heard what sounded like a little girl yelling out for help. Neither group had children with them, but we were all positive we were hearing a little girl and decided to search the area we heard the noises from together. There was a field behind our campsite, and we saw a very tall, pure white figure standing maybe 100 feet away from us in the field making the noises. We all agreed this thing looked maybe 6 feet tall. Damn, skinny and white as can be. We made our way closer to investigate, but whatever it was that we saw started backing off as we got closer, and it disappeared into the trees. All night we continued to hear a little girl calling for help as we tried to sleep. But it wasn't a little girl. Okay, that's the end of the story. My ass would have been out of there as soon as I saw something like that. I would have been gone. Gone, gone, gone. Y'all know what? I forgot to do shout outs. Somebody remind me. I'll do it at the end of the stream. I was going to do shout outs tonight. Okay. Would y'all have stayed there? If y'all saw a big old 6 feet tall white figure. Hey, Oklahoma Rain. How are you? Mommy Mars. Wow, the nerve of him to use Gabby's card. Yes, he used $1,000, Mommy Mars. Brian Laundrie did. You know what? If he is in the Carlton Reserve, I hope an alligator eats his ass. Or a big old anaconda somebody's had as a pet they've turned loose in there. Or python. Because even if they do find him, that weirdo probably won't confess to anything. Okay. Next story is called The Walking Dead. I'm a psychiatrist nurse, and early in my career, I worked at a residential mental health facility. One of our residents was an elective mute, which means that he didn't, wouldn't, couldn't talk, but there was no medical reason as to why. He had spoken earlier and in his life, and in fact seemed quite normal back then, with the exception of being close to 7 feet tall. He had been raised in the Deep South, joined the military when he was 19, but one night he vanished. He was declared AWOL, and eventually he was declared missing and dead. 10 years later, a 7-foot tall man walked into a VA hospital emergency room in my part of the Midwest and said to the receptionist, "My name is Marianne Duccini," not the real name, "and I've been dead for 10 years. Those were the last words he ever spoke. He was covered with dust. He was wearing the same clothes he had been reported to be wearing the night he vanished. His Social Security number had not been used, and he had no identification on his person. However, they were able to identify him, I guess through fingerprints. The family was notified, but they said they had already grieved their lost man, and that whomever was claiming to be him simply could not be. They demanded not to be contacted again. Marion paced all day, every day, moving his mouth that looked like talking or muttering, but no sound came out. He had an unnerving habit of throwing his head back with his mouth wide open, as if he were laughing heartily, but not even a breath could be heard. If I talked to him, he appeared to listen, periodically throwing his head back in laughter, a mimicking way of his. Various medications were tried, but they did not affect him either positively or negatively. Occupational therapy did nothing because Marion would just grin unless told to stay put. He'd get up and start pacing again. On my last day at the job, the last thing I saw was Marion pacing in the parking lot, throwing his head back to laugh. Later, I wondered if all along I'd been dealing with a ghost. All these years later, I still don't know. Ooh. Hey, Vicky, good evening. Cement shoes. I hope they find a python with a big lump in the middle of it. Me too. You know, today I thought, oh my gosh, that's awful to say, but I mean, that's really the way I feel about him. Because we all know he murdered Gabby. And I don't think that he was all that good to her. I think that he was abusive to her. Okay. The next one is called The Unrest Stop. Damn, it's cold out here, y'all. Vicky, your hair looks cute. Oh, thank you, Vicky. Thank you so much. Okay. The Unrest Stop. I was driving across country with my mom and sister when I was 16. My sister was 20. It was late, but we were well rested, still, and alert. We were driving along an interstate and needed gas and a bathroom break. So we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on the road trip at the gas station, as well as a small gray car parked at the pump in front of us, with two young men standing still outside of it. When we got there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard the teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work, and they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the two men had not moved at all, not even an inch. They weren't talking, they weren't on phones, they were just standing there, still as stone. My sister and mom came running back out to the car, and when they got in, the two men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. I swear to effing shit, we all saw the same thing. They had eyes dark as pitch and empty, truly empty, not black, not reflecting any light at all, just a void. We sped out of there, didn't stop until we were in the next city. The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find the place on any map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station out on the stretch of road and got only confused looks. We've traveled on that interstate since, and there is no rest stop. Oh my gosh, that is so creepy. Hey, Red Rum. That guy reminds me of Chris Watts. Cement shoes, I've been saying that. Yes, Brian Laundrie looks like Chris Watts. I mean, I don't know if it's like the goatee or what, but he reminds me of Chris Watts. A lot. I'd be very surprised if he's in that Carlton Reserve, to be honest. Okay, here's another one. It came for us in the graveyard. You'll not be catching me at no graveyard at night. Not anymore. When I was a teenager, we used to drive down the mountain and look for deer. And we would always pull over on the white spot. And there was a cemetery there and smoke us a joint. And it always creeped me out. Oklahoma Rain. Cece, you look great tonight. Are you single yet? Oh, thank you, Oklahoma Rain. Hey, Matt. Well, I'm in a complicated relationship, Oklahoma Rain, if you want to call it a relationship. I don't know what you call it. I'm Kathy. I'm here listening while having dinner. I've not had dinner yet. I'm going to eat when I get off here. Cement Shoe said, except Balder. Yeah, he's a lot balder than Chris Watts. Chris Watts and Gabby's boyfriend seem to have similar physique. Yeah. Brian is not as nicey nice behind closed doors, I don't think, as he is in front of people. I mean, look how he treated that waitress at that Mexican restaurant, the Piggy something. Okay. It came for us in the graveyard. We were driving my friend's really old, beat-up Subaru through a massive graveyard. Wait, you was driving a Subaru through a graveyard? How disrespectful. We stopped and walked down a hill, came across a little pond. There was someone sitting on a rock on the other side of the pond. The figure was all black, and we couldn't make out any features other than the fact it looked like a man who was wearing some old-style top hat. We stupidly waved and shouted hi. He didn't show any acknowledgement and continued sitting still on the rock. All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet, started running to us on the water, and then vanished into thin water about halfway on the pond. He vanished into thin water. My friends and I screamed and ran back to the car. The car wouldn't start, and we heard something banging on the back of the car. It wasn't a constant bang, but every few seconds or so we'd hear it. Nobody was outside from what we could see in the dark, but something was making a noise on the car. I opened my phone, started dialing my mom to come give us a boost. I had no service. None of us had any self-service. The next 30 minutes were spent trying to get her car started. No banging was heard afterwards. Oh crap, my phone went black. But we felt this heavy pressure around us. Oh my gosh, I'd have got out of that car and my butt would have been gone. Fast as lightning. Finally, the car started. She hit the pedal to the metal. We sped out of the graveyard so fast. Immediately crossing the gates, all of our phones regained cell service. One thing I know for certain is that someone or something was out there, and it was not an animal or a human. Wow. Hey, I would have been gone. I might have had a heart attack, guys. I might have peed on myself if a ghost started running at me. But the way they wrote this, it's like they drove on the graveyard, which is very disrespectful. We were driving my friend's really old beat up Subaru through a massive graveyard. Like, who drives? I mean, unless it's like got like a little path around, you know what I mean? Maybe that's what they meant. Maybe you could drive around the graveyard. I'm thinking about like a graveyard around here. You usually just like, it's like a big spot of land. You just like pull up to it and walk, over to it. But maybe this is like like a little path or something for cars through it. Okay. That story scared me, guys. No, I'll be scared to death till Martin gets home. That's the way I do, guys. I'll read these scary stories and then I'll get scared, or I watch scary movies and then I get scared. Hey, at 2 o'clock the other morning, I was watching Friday the 13th, part 2. Got scared to death. Okay, this one's titled, It Was Good to See an Old Friend. When I was 37, I went to my high school reunion. I flew into the nearest airport and rented a car. The distance was about 35 miles through a very rural and almost abandoned part of the country. About 3 miles outside of town, I see someone on the side of the road flagging me down. It turned out that it was one of the guys I had attended school with. Jim gets in the car and we start talking. I had not seen him in 20 years, but he still looked the same, maybe a little older. We get to town and I ask him if he wants to come to the VFW and have a drink. He says no, just take me home. Jim's parents had lived only a few blocks from my grandmother's house, and I turned in that direction, but he said no, to take him to the outskirts of town. There was a mobile home park out there, and I figured that is where he lived. When we reached the end of the turnoff, he said, just drop me here. It was good to see you again. And he walks off into the night. I go to the VFW, met some of my old classmates. We start to talk. As we're talking about who is coming to the reunion, I mentioned that I had just picked up Jim 3 miles east of town and had dropped him off. Everyone gets quiet. Even the guy singing karaoke stops, lays down the mic. My cousin goes white as a new t-shirt. Barb, Jim died on that curve 8 years ago, rolled his car. We were all at his funeral. I was told. I started to feel dizzy. I went out to the car to take some deep breaths. There on the seat is the local newspaper, printed 8 years previous, containing Jim's obituary. I still have the paper. Now that is creepy. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Now, I don't know if I hardly believe that he went outside and there was a newspaper from 8 years ago laying in the seat. But who knows? Who knows? Anything's possible. Ooh, this next one looks good. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Yep, ain't that the truth? Oh my gosh, guys, I gotta get some coffee. It's cold. My coffee's went cold. Oh my gosh, I'm freezing. Okay. After we moved into our home, we were told a woman had died there at the hands of her abusive husband. She hated men. My dad would wake up with scratches all over himself. And whenever my brother was mean to my sister or I, he would have scratches on him as well. One day, my brother hurt our sister. He hit her with something. When he woke up later that night, he had a horrible bloody nose. The day we moved out, my brother accidentally broke his twin's arm trying out a wrestling move. He swears that he would have died that night if it wasn't our last day in the house. I think if I lived in a haunted house, I would be out, which I've had some creepy things happen around here, like glasses and stuff breaking in my hand. Seeing these little shadow figures, even Mark has seen them. At first, I think he thought I was crazy. Do you know how you can tell when something's watching you? One day, I was in there vacuuming. I was bent down, and something went in front of me really, really quick, like a shadow. And I raised up and turned the vacuum cleaner off because it scared me. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're just scaring yourself." So I turned the vacuum cleaner back on. I was using a shop vac, so I was bent over. And something did it again, and I know what I saw. And I quit vacuuming, and I went outside because that's back when Mark worked, and because it freaked me out, it scared me. There's something. It's probably all those antiques he brings in here. I've got like a whole photo album of like vintage photos, all kinds of vintage stuff. I have a really cool vintage jewelry box that's silver, and the like the little silver mirror. I need the hairbrush. But I think spirits can attach themselves to items like that. I really do. Okay, what else have we got? Thank God I got the dogs out here with me. Hey, Skylar. That girl. Okay. Death came for him. I was standing in my parents' room talking to my very sick dad at the time. He was dying of stage 4 esophageal something other cancer. I got the feeling something was behind me. I looked towards the doorway to the living room and something was about four, four, 6 and fully black is peeking around the corner with its hands on the door frame. I ran towards it. It slipped back around the door. When I got outside the doorway, there was nothing. My dad was completely confused when I stepped back inside the room when I told him. People who stayed at my house in my dad's final days claimed to have seen it. My mom saw the figure on multiple occasions in multiple places until he passed away. We haven't seen it since. Oh, so they were seeing death. Oh, gosh. That would freak me out. I do not want to be staying anywhere that somebody died in the house. Mommy Mars, I think so too. But spirits can attach. Yes, they can attach themselves to items. And I think the things that's went on here in this house have something to do with those old photos. I mean, like I got a whole freaking stack of them. They used to be in an album, you can tell. Some of them is really old. Like there's a picture of some soldiers. It looks like probably World War One. Yeah, there's some really, really old ones in there. Okay. Evicted by a ghost. Shortly after college, I got married. We immediately moved into a basement apartment because that's all that was available within our budget. This place had a poltergeist, and my wife was terrified. Whatever resided there with us made it clear it wanted to live alone. Dishes, glasses, and other items would fly off the shelf. My wife was hit several times. There was always an ominous feeling like we were being watched. At night, when we walked through the apartment in the dark, there would be an insanely bright flashes of light that would illuminate the entire room. I'd have been out of there. One night while we were going to bed, as soon as my wife and I walked into the bedroom, we heard a voice from nowhere say my name and move. My wife looked at me. I looked at her. I said loudly, "You've got it, bud." We moved out 2 days later and stayed with family. The old lady who owned the place died a few months later and the house was torn down. It is still an empty lot to this day. Nothing but grass and trees. I still drive by it every now and again. Hey, I would have been out there the first time plates and glasses started flying at me. Oh my gosh. When I die, I'm going to attach myself to a list of people. I always say I'm going to haunt some people when I die. I want to haunt them and just scare them. The recent Annabelle movie, Part 3, I think, had scenes of bad spirits attaching to some antiques. It was scary. Oh, that Annabelle movie is scary. That doll creeps me out. Do y'all remember that movie, The Puppet Master? Came out, I don't know, what, early 90s, late 80s, something like that. Those little puppets used to scare me. I would have been at the motel screw 3 days. I know it. My butt would have been out of there. Out of there. Okay. The Death March. My dad used to work as a correction officer at a rural prison. He drove the perimeter of the property for his entire shift, where he would check empty buildings for runaway inmates. It was generally a boring job. One night, my dad was parked on a hill reading a magazine when he started to feel a thumping in his body. He described it as the feeling you get when speakers are playing a song with really heavy bass. He put the magazine down. checked his rearview mirror, where he saw someone outside his truck. He grabbed his pistol, jumped out of the truck with his weapon drawn. Outside the truck, he realized it was a procession of Native Americans walking through the truck and directly through his seat, only to disappear at the exact spot he was sitting. He said it was clear they were ghosts because many of them appeared injured. This went on for a few seconds. Then the whole procession disappeared. He called the other perimeter guy on his walkie to try to explain, and the other guy almost immediately stopped communicating. Turns out the other guy had seen this happen before but didn't believe in ghosts, so he wouldn't talk about it. How could you not believe in it if you saw it? I've never saw Jacob's Ladder. I don't think, Cement Shoes. I'll tell you something that freaked me out is the, gosh, what is that called with the pin face guy? That movie freaked me out. Gosh, what is the name of that movie? I forgot. In that movie, See No Evil, it's got Kane in it. That freaked me out. Your house is straight on it. There's something in this house. I took a globe down one time, y'all. The bulb had been blowed in there in the kitchen for months. Well, I got Mark to change it for me. And he took the globe down, and I had a damp cloth, and I was going to start wiping it, and the thing burst on me. It like freaking exploded on me. Yes, Pinhead Hellraiser series. Yes, that Hellraiser stuff scares me. And then I had that happen with a glass. And then I had this old glass moonshine jug sitting out here. And I was sitting out here in this chair. And all of a sudden it just shatters. I don't know why. Maybe it's got something to do with me. I don't know. I have a lot of freaky things happen. Now, I have actually seen a ghost before several times. My boyfriend that committed suicide, Brett, I saw his ghost when I was completely sober. It was early one morning. I had done my hair. I was doing my makeup. No, I'd done my makeup. I was doing my hair. And I felt somebody looking at me, and I turned around, and he was standing there, looked completely normal. My brother thought I was hallucinating until he saw him in that house too, and it scared him to death. He started leaving a Bible on the table, wanted the place blessed. Swear to God. CC, sage your house. I have. I've actually got some sage in there. I usually sage. Yeah. And I've saw things when I was little too. And everybody would say it was my imagination. No, not my imagination. See, what scared my brother so much when he seen him is he said that he did not look normal. And he had like blood and stuff on it. That's what freaked him out. When I saw him, he looked normal. You know, because he committed suicide. That's why, had blood on him, I guess. My brother saw him. And one time, guys, after I did not deal with his death good, and I was at a place I shouldn't have been drinking, doing drugs. Anyways, I've been staying there a few days. I went to sleep one night, and I had this dream. It was plain as day that he was not dead, that he lived next door to me, and he had just been in a car wreck in a coma and woke up. Dreams are crazy. But anyways, he asked me, "What are you doing here? You need to go home." And that's the only time I've ever dreamed about him. I had flashbacks from my PTSD from what happened. But I woke up and I called my mom the next day to come and get me. Yes. I firmly believe he was sending me that message through my dreams. It was plain as day. I was so disappointed when I woke up. You know how it is when you're dreaming something I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to sleep and keep dreaming, because he was alive. He was still alive. Yeah. In that place I was at, it was not a good place. Yeah, watching over me. I've had several people read my cards, tell my fortune, all that. And every one of them always tells me that his spirit is attached to me. It come to you in your dreams. Yeah. Used to. I could dream all kinds of stuff and it would come true later. I could still do it sometimes, but when I was a kid, that used to happen a lot. Maybe he saved your life. Yeah. Yeah, because I was drinking liquor and chasing it with water. It's pretty bad. And I've never been a drinker. Yeah. And it was like, it wasn't too long after he died, too. Yeah. Okay, let's see. And me and my brother, we saw the devil or something one time. Our house burnt down and we had to go stay in this old house. And we had to share a room, which I didn't mind. I was scared to death. But anyways, we saw something red. It was a demon or something in that room that night, and we both saw it. Mom said it was our imaginations. How you imagine? How does two different people imagine the same exact thing, see it at the exact same time? I took off screaming. Yes. Okay. We're going to do one more, guys, before I get off here. The demon's room, because my nose is starting to run because it's cold. I worked as a forensic nurse in a hospital lockup unit. We had an older lady who swore she was being haunted and abused by a demon she would call Tiberius. I think that's how you say it. Many crazy things happened while she was on the unit. We'd go into the room, do normal care, leave, and seconds later she'd start screaming bloody murder. We'd run into the room to find her looking like she'd been in a fight with a boxing champ. Bloody lip, black eye, markings all over her body. No one ever saw her doing this stuff to herself. Things would get moved around the room by themselves. At one point, she was in protective restraints because the doctor thought she was hurting herself. There was no way she could have moved or done anything to herself while in these restraints. But new marks would appear on her. Tray cart would be across the room. The room was secure, so there was no way someone else was doing this. When we asked her questions, she'd just say it was Tiberius, the demon. After she was discharged, we always had trouble with that room. If there was going to be a rapid response or code, it happened in that room. One night, a guard reported lights blinking on and off. It was that room. Oh, gosh, that gave me chills. Oh, gosh. Putting Jacob's ladder on my list to watch. Yes, I'm going to watch that too. I was watching like old vintage horror movies on TV the other day. I can't remember. Maybe I think it was Blood of the Vampire I was watching. Shorty, I woke up one night and saw the most beautiful man that I'd ever seen. He was standing by the bed and put out his hand. I just knew if I took his hand, I would die. I looked again and he was gone, scared. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. My cousin's little girl, she had a brain tumor. And they took her to the children's hospital, going to do brain surgery and all that. And she swore that Jesus came to her and told her that it was going to be all right and he was going to heal her. Okay, so they done the brain operation on her, removed like the tumor, whatever. And after that, she was fine. She's like 20 some years old now. She don't live too far from me. Works. Got a boyfriend that lives with her. Yeah. I just now thought of a movie I'm going to go try to find and watch tonight. House on Haunted Hill. I love the original movie. The remake of it, I mean, it's all right, but I love Vincent Price. I believe that's his name. Vincent Price, yeah. It's a beautiful story. Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't you know, like zoned out on medicine or anything. She was only like, gosh, she was only 4 or 5 years old. And she still says to this day that she saw Jesus. He was in her room. And he told her it was going to be all right. And he was going to heal her. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't know she had a brain tumor. She used to complain of headaches. And then she started kind of walking funny with her feet in like that. And they took her to the doctor because she kept falling and stuff too. And she had a brain tumor. Sure did. Her name's Emily. Thank God, she's healed. I think little kids are more prone to see ghosts and things like that because they're pure. If you like Vincent Price, make sure you see Monster Club, my favorite. Oh, I'm going to have to. I love Vincent Price. CC, do you have your cards read? Yes, I do. Sometimes, yeah. I got my own cards, but I'm not that great at reading them. I mean, like, I'm okay because I read mine a few months ago, and what I read actually kind of happened. So, I like Boris Karloff in movies too, Cement Shoes. If y'all have not seen the show Thriller, it never aired on TV, but it's like the Twilight Zone. You should check it out here on YouTube. You can find the episodes. I love Boris Karloff. He actually played, I believe, Frankenstein. Maybe like the first Frankenstein, I think. That would be fun for you to do a reading. Yeah, I need to get somebody up here that can really read cards. Give us a good card reading. Some people are really good at it, and some people suck at it. I'm one of the ones that suck at it. I don't think this guy was Jesus, but he was so beautiful with blonde hair. That's what made it more frightening. I woke up my husband, and that's when he disappeared. Oh my gosh. It's probably some freaking weirdo demon trying to trick you. Monster Club is 3 tales in one movie. The last one gave me nightmares. I'm gonna look that up. I gotta see it. I love the vintage horror movies. I'm a big Halloween fan too, though. I love Halloween. Like the first one, I think is the best. The first one and the second one's pretty good. I know an excellent tarot reader if you want me to mention it to her. Yes, she just mentioned it to her. Cement should charge us to do it. I've been watching this woman on TikTok. She has this book. Let me think of the name of it. I'm trying to think. Is it Little Book of Answers? It's something like that. Little Book of Answers. But you can ask her a question and like she opens up this book and it gives you the answer. She just picks a place to open up the book at. Check out The Car. I will. Is it like Christine? Or is that the person that reads cards? I love the movie Christine, by the way. Love that. Oh, and I like Stephen King's Pet Cemetery. And what is the other one? Oh, Thinner. I like that one. Sometimes They Come Back. Love that movie. Night of the Demons. Love that movie. For some reason, just the older horror movies were like a lot better than the ones this day and time. I'm thinking about going and seeing Candyman, but Timothy done went and seen it with his friends, so I'll have nobody to go with. It's kind of like Christine. Okay, I'll check that movie out. The Car. If I ever get a car, I'm gonna name it Christine. Oh, Misery. Oh, that's a good movie. Yeah. I've not seen that in forever. It is a good movie. Let me see. Oh, yeah, let me do shout outs. I forgot. Let me see. What's another good movie I like? I like Rob Zombie, so I like that movie, House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. Okay, let me go to monetization. Okay. Where's everybody at? Oh, right here. Okay, let me see. Do I just have one page? Okay, so let's do some shout outs. Um, Southern Mom, Cheryl Lynn, Light Feather, Emily, Flotilla, Red Rum, Diane's Channel, Mommy Mars, Beth M, Nika, Loveful Road, Nurse Teacher, Champ, Moxie Vintage, Cement Shoes, Alex V, Michelle Furry, Booze Love, Sapphire, Sunnyside, Haley Turner, Cindy Hill, Lisa Irwin, Mandy Hall, Hibiscus Ivy, Mander Lynn, RNA, Susie Rainwater, Jack's Mom, Checking Convictions, Lori Stacks, Truth Seeker, Pink Sugar, Charlie Girl Says, Ariana A.G. Beaverhausen, Sky Z, Matt Willis, Nikki P., Leroy Ellis, Irene Vasquez, Broken Justice, Dorothy Marie, Recovery, It's a Crying Shame, Leanne, Kathy, Sonia, Voices Behind the Wall, Rocky, Renee, Sandra D., and Oklahoma Rain. Thank you all that joined the membership, guys. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Oh, yeah, Kathy, I forgot about that movie, The Birds, The Birds. Oh, and The Shining. Love that movie. Love that. Oklahoma Rain. House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price. I know, I love him. Love Vincent Price. Wasn't Vincent Price actually in the remake of House on Haunted Hill? I can't remember. I'll tell y'all a show I love to watch is The Munsters. I was looking at Munster memorabilia, however the hell you say it, yesterday evening because I've got this Grandpa Munster doll that Mark got off someone, but it wasn't in good shape. Anyways, I saw one on Etsy for $150. Too bad mine's not in good shape, but I was looking for a Woof Woof doll, Eddie Munster's Wolfman doll, Woof Woof, and I found one. This woman hand makes them, but she's sold out right now. Like she actually hand makes these Woof Woof dolls that looks just like Eddie Munster's dolls. Got like the plaid pajamas on and everything. I want to go see the new Addams Family. Oh, I love the Addams Family. I watched the old Addams Family show, and I love the Addams Family movies. He did the voice speaking in Thriller as zombies come out. Oh, I love Thriller. The original Diabolic, not the remake. Revealed Psycho. Oh, I love the movie Psycho. Norman Bates, like the old Psycho movie. I have that on DVD. As a kid, I had a crush on Letitia Adams. Hey, she is pretty, and so is Lily Munster. She was a pretty lady too. I need that Lily Munster doll, y'all. Oh my gosh, ladies, let me tell y'all what ColourPop just come out with. Hocus Pocus eyeshadow palette collection. I love the movie Hocus Pocus. Ooh, The Hills Have Eyes is a good one. Wrong Turn. The first one is scary as hell. Actually, there is like an inbred, speaking of Wrong Turn, it was about inbred hillbillies. But there is actually, I believe it is in West Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. There's a whole family that are inbred, and they all got things that's really, really bad wrong with them. Look up the Whitaker family. There's a documentary on YouTube about them. And I'm not being mean, but they look like they could be in that movie. it's sad. Have you seen that Thriller with Mishka Bartner? I think it's called Homecoming, a Thriller. Her character is like Jodi Arias. No, I've not seen that. I like that old black and white movie about this governess, which is basically a nanny. This takes place like in the Victorian times. She comes to watch these two kids, and at first she thinks like it's the little girl that's doing mean stuff, but actually the little boy is possessed. What is that called? The Innocence? The Innocence or something. I can't remember. One guy barks like a dog because he was raised with dogs. Oh, you know who I'm talking about? Kathy, you've watched that. Yeah, it's sad, y'all. Look up the Whitakers. I believe it is West Virginia, ain't it, Kathy? And they all live in the same house. And Kathy's right. That one guy barks like a dog because they're inbred, and it's caused some bad mental handicaps and physical handicaps too. It's sad. Are y'all too young to remember original When a Stranger Calls? I've not seen that one. I'll tell you a movie I like. I can't think of the name of it, but it's like a vintage one. But this little girl's mean as hell, and she kills people, but she pretends to be perfect around her mom and dad. What is the name of that movie? It's a little blonde-headed girl, but she is evil as hell. Going to watch Kenny Rogers special. Bye, Hibiscus. Or see ya. You're not supposed to say bye. See you later. Yeah, I'm going to get off here too, guys. My hands are froze. The bad seed. The bad seed. Yeah. I've tried to find that on YouTube, but I mean, it's on here, but you got to rent it. And a lot of times I just don't even fool with renting. Don't be afraid of the dark. Has tiny demons. So scary. Oh my gosh. Who would name their kid Hell? I believe it or not, Sunnyside, there's somebody here, and their name is Harley Effin Davidson. His sister's name is Mary Jane. I kid you not. They're some real nice people. They're not. I mean, really, Harley freaking Davidson. That's his name. I kid you not. Their parents must have been hippies and drunks. Motorcycle rider. Oh, thank you, Hibiscus. So he thought, what? I swear his name is Harley fucking Davidson. I swear. I swear. Freaking hillbillies. That's what you call freaking hillbillies. Kenny Rogers specials on CBS. I always thought Kenny Rogers was good looking back in the day. I love him in The Gambler. I just watched that a while back. Tombstone was on TV. I love to watch Tombstone. I love Doc Holliday. He was cool as shit. Anyways, love y'all. I'll talk to y'all in the morning. Hearts. Have a good night or a good day, depending on where you are. I guess the yacht club won't be marking him absent. I know, cement shoes. Anyways, y'all have a good night. Be safe, be kind. Peace. I'm going to warm up. I'm frozen to death.